Hello Flute Nerds, welcome to this month's mini masterclass. All month long, we're exploring extended techniques, what they are, how to do them, and how do we use them to improve our tone and playing. And it's this last point that is what we're going to look at today. Extended techniques have a bit of a reputation problem. At first glance, they appear to be only for advanced players who have an interest in contemporary music or bizarre sound effects. But today, we're going to blow that all up. First of all, extended techniques are not really anything new. Some of them, like circular breathing, have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and others, like flutter tonguing, have been in use since at least the 19th century. So even if you don't intend on ever playing any experimental contemporary music, you might very well still come across them. Secondly, while there are some advanced techniques that require lots of patience and practice, there are plenty that even beginners can begin messing around with, and we'll be looking at some of these today. Finally, even if you don't have any interest in making bizarre noises on the flute, extended techniques can be really valuable practice. They teach us awareness, and they can help us refine so many different aspects of our playing. They're some of the most powerful tone development tools you have, and should be regular features of your practice right alongside Moïse and Tafnel and Gobert. I know, it's a wild claim, but stick with me. In this masterclass, we're going to look at why extended techniques are actually brilliant for developing your tone and the science behind why they work. I'll share 5 of my favorite techniques to use in my practice, how to do them, and why they're good for your playing. So, grab your flute, settle in, and let's get nerdy. Hi friends, this clip is part of a full-length masterclass which is available inside the Flute Nerd Lab. It's part of our Extended Techniques Blitz, which is a deep dive walkthrough designed to help introduce you to all the fun sounds that we can make on the flute. If you want the full masterclass, plus etude study guides, weekly practice challenges, and a community of nerdy, supportive flute players just like you, come on and join us. You can sign up for free on School. The link is in the description. In the meantime, let's get back to how you can use extended techniques as tone exercises. So let's dig into why you should consider using extended techniques in your practice, what makes them so useful, and for tone development specifically. Standard warm-ups and tone exercises like your long tones, scales, and Tafnel and Gobert are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They're the foundations of good playing, and I am not suggesting that you ditch them, but they all work within the normal parameters of flute playing. And what I mean by that is that you have to have a really good idea of what you're trying to improve as you do those exercises, because none of them ask you to push your playing to its extremes to better understand the mechanics of what we're doing. Extended techniques, on the other hand, play at the edges of your playing limits. They push us to the extremes, and that's exactly what makes them so bloody useful. They ask you to focus on aspects of your playing that you don't normally pay attention to. They require such specific attentive adjustments like tiny shifts in air angle, embouchure aperture, tongue placement, and this forces you to develop an awareness and control that you might not even realize you had been missing. So now let's properly get nerdy about why this works. So as much as you know that I like to get down and nerdy, I'm going to try to sum up the acoustics of what's happening as easily as possible. However, I do recommend looking up the science behind how a flute produces sound because it's really interesting and full of fascinating acoustic science. But essentially, the flute produces a sound from a vibrating column of air that moves down the tube. We control this vibration by changing the air speed, pressure, and angle. When we're playing normally, we're trying to find the very specific combination of these variables that work for each note, register, and dynamic that we play. We adjust our breath control and our embouchure carefully to keep that air stable so that we can hold that specific vibration for the most resonant and rich tone. Extended techniques deliberately push you outside those normal parameters, and it's the act of stretching beyond our perfect sound that actually makes them so useful. When you stick to the safe zone, where everything cooperates and sounds good, you don't actually learn where the boundaries are or how to stay flexible within them. But when you deliberately push to the edges, you start to map the full territory of your body and playing. You discover exactly what happens when your air is too fast, too slow, too wide, or too focused. You learn what happens when you push your embouchure to its limits. You learn what too much and not enough actually feel like in your body. And once you know where the edges are, finding the center becomes so much easier. You gain better control, more flexibility, and an embodied understanding of your playing that you simply cannot get from staying within the safe zone. Right, with all of that in mind, let's look at 5 specific extended techniques to help you discover what you are capable of. If you found this video helpful and want to dig even deeper, the full masterclass is available inside the Flute Nerd Lab on School. In the lesson, I'll take you through 5 extended techniques step by step with help on how to make them, and exercises that will help your tone development. Join the lab for free today to access the full masterclass, this month's extended techniques walkthrough, weekly challenges where you can experiment with these techniques, live Q&As, and a whole community of flute nerds who won't judge you for making weird noises. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching and happy experimenting!